There's a good way. She started off right. Look, people, I've been broke my whole life. And I'm talking broke, we ain't got it. Look, Tifa here with FBTV. I've made a Christmas list. And let me be very clear, I hate Christmas with a passion. Matter of fact, you know why I love holidays? Is because nobody calls me. That's why I love them. I love the fact that I don't have to be bothered with nobody. I get to sit around. I'm like, dang, ain't nobody gonna need me today. Gonna be with the people they're supposed to be with, minding their business. But any other holiday, I just don't like none of them. So at any hoot, I made a Christmas list. Kat's gonna tell me how, or hopefully, she's gonna offer credit. Kat and Jamal, they're gonna assist in helping me mark things off my Christmas list and what that looks like. Now, why did I say Christmas? Because these are big items, these are big moves, these are big things that I'd like to achieve. And I don't think it's gonna happen overnight, especially not with the 620 credit score. So, broke, when I say broke, I mean, I don't look like I ever missed no meals, and I'll be honest and say I never did. But if you don't have the education, the understanding, the wherewithal of how to leverage, you're broke. So, Kat here off Credit Solution List. I've got a list of things I'd like to learn about in relation to. So, I used to own a car back in the day. The homies don't ever be doing nothing, so I got rid of the car back in the day. Also had an apartment. And got rid of the apartment, especially during COVID, because I said, man, I probably could save $1,000 and put that towards something else. So I moved in with Jamarcus' old lady at the time. And then I stayed with a friend as well in another apartment. And guess what I did? I started buying camera equipment, and then I started making some money doing media stuff. But you know, we're here now, we're thinking, how do we scale up? People think linear, I gotta get there. No, how do we grow everyone around us? Well, part of that, I've already told Stan, so you're seeing this today, and I said, Stan, you and your whole family, 5 kids, are gonna move to the land one day. And it'll just be easier. It'd be easier because we're gonna do this dog thing for the next 5 to 7 years. And we're going to do our best, to say the least, but we're going to try to make a difference. So, Kat, I put together a Christmas list. I want to get a couple cars at some point. Let's start off with one car. Potentially want to get 40 to 100 acres at some point. And then, like you, I believe in properties. For the people who've never met my homie Rich, you've seen him maybe episode or 2. He's always sending me stuff, literally just yesterday. So it would make sense to me that somewhere in there to say, hey, I want to own 5 properties as well. Because some of that stuff turns into cash flow and becomes leverageable as well. Please correct me if I'm wrong. And even from a business standpoint, you say, well, I asked her a good question about business credit. I want to create 7 more products. Every time I come up with a new product at 200 run, it costs me $23,000 to $3,000. Then I have to sell it all. And if I don't sell any, then I just spent $2,000 and some change and didn't make any profit. So let's start with the car. What do I need to do with the 620 to get a car?
So technically, if you wanted to, you could go get a car right now.
Okay.
You could absolutely get approved for it with a 20% interest rate and an $800 a month car payment. But yeah, we just need to work towards, first off, building it out a little bit as far as your file goes. Okay. Giving it some beef. Giving it some beef, huh? Yeah.
We have the meat.
So yeah, just giving you some additional credibility, and we always talk about it, that golden score is the 720. That's golden what you're gonna get what you want.
And guys, I had 740 about a year or 2 ago, and trust me, it was like they was handing out golden tickets out, so they were trying to give me. I said, oh, this is exciting. I remember when I first got that Apple, that Apple card different. I'm gonna show you here. This thing can cut some of that Goldman Sachs card come through, boy, you be charged up. You say, I would've gave me 5 of them boys. I got 6, I think 5 or 6 of them boys. Let's say your little name on there. It don't come with no number or nothing. You just get an Apple card and pay Apple Pay. And trust me, Apple's getting paid. But the gist of it is, so 620, so if I get to 720, 740, what does my interest rate drop to? And why does your interest rate drop as you increase your credit score?
Yeah, so credit score, another way to think about it is credibility. That's how the banks look at it. So if you are a credible person, that means you are trustworthy, you're reliable, you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do. You know what I mean? So yeah, your interest rate decreases because the more credible you are, the more reliable you are, the less of a risk you are as a borrower.
So I need to grow 100 points basically. 100 points. How long would that take someone like myself?
I need to look at your report.
Okay.
I need to look at it.
So guys, I'm going to get to a report, but let me be very clear and tell you this. Me even doing this episode is because when we do get, you know, I'm looking at a Highlander hybrid or a Sequoia for the dogs. Every month I'm taking the dogs on a trip. There's Dinosaur Valley. I literally got in a car with one of my homegirls and we drove 2 hours to go and hike here in Texas, and came back in the day, and she's got I think a border collie or something, Australian Shepherd, one of the two, named Royce. So when I tell you there's a lot of stuff you can go and see and get out with your dogs and have a good time, there's a lot of stuff you can go do even around here. And when I say around here, it might be 2 hours away, 3 hours away, 90 miles away, and it's still worth traveling. So part of me getting the car, when I say investment, it turns around and we take y'all on journeys with us. So objectively, in my opinion, if we do this right, YouTube will pay for the car long term when it's all said and done. But I'm not getting it because I need a car to go. So I'm getting it. So I'm like, for one, dogs need to be comfortable. I need to be comfortable. Nobody need to be crammed. We're going to drive 2 to 3 hours, and I might even push in some cases 8 hours, and go to some place where we could really thrive and have a good time. So the car, for everybody to be clear, is a big move. And they've even talked about getting a runner van. But point is, we're going to dive into my credit on a Zoom live event. Below in the link, you can click and sign. It's free. And they will tear my credit to pieces. Let me know what's going on. I will tell them everything they need to know. I'll ask any questions, answer any questions, and walk you through that. So I've got 622 right now. And in the 622, I need to grow plus 100 points. Plus 100 points. Once she analyzes my credit, which it's not a lot on there if I'm being honest. The problem is, it's not a lot on there. So 100 points. So let's say someone's got a decent, I mean, what even, if you had to like snowball, what would, how long it would take with minimal things on a person's credit, how long would it take to get 100 more points?
So with what I think is going on with your credit right now, realistically, you could be there in a month and a half.
There you go.
It could happen pretty quickly.
Okay. And mind you, just getting to 720, 740 could lower my interest rate by what?
A lot. I mean, you go from, at a 620, you're talking about most likely near between 18 to 20%. You could get down, in this interest market, sucks right now, you could probably get down to about maybe 7 or 8%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that right there, so let's say I even clean up my credit, but interest is high on everything right now. Is it smart of me then to even go and get a car? Right now, like, I don't need one, to be clear right now, people. But if I needed, if I was like, well, would now be a good time to go get one? Well,
so I mean, that's the whole thing. If you don't absolutely have to, if it's not mandatory, it's not a great market to get it in. But at the same time, another thing I would say to people is, you don't know when that time's gonna come, right? But also, we don't know when those interest rates are gonna go down. We're in a very bad position right now as a nation as far as inflation and everything else goes, and interest rates are increased to discourage people from buying. That's the whole purpose. So the interest rates increase so that inflation can decrease, and we just don't know how fast that's gonna happen. So
there you go, people. Now, Kat here has a, what did you call it? You're a licensed financial
planner.
There you go. There's a licensed financial planner. So
CFP.
we're going to show you what it's like to look at someone's finances like myself. I tell you, it's not great. I'm not good at budgeting. What I try to make sure is I don't get below certain numbers to ensure that if something comes up, like the product needs, we'll just say reinstallment per se, off top it's gonna cost me $22,000 and some change. So, and then it just goes back to I gotta sell more products. So shout out to everybody who's got my Dog Supps and those things. But I also know how to go get money too if I need to shoot. So then, what needs to happen if I want it? What does my credit need to be if I wanted like 40 to 100 acres?
40 to 100 acres. Again, so here's the thing. The bank will give you what you want, right? It just may not be on the terms that you want it on. So again, I would get you to that 720, 740 range. But whenever we start talking about a purchase that large, that's when they start looking at everything else, your income, your budgeting capabilities, that type of thing. So that's what they want to dig into, the bank statements and the tax returns and all that other fun stuff.
So let me be very clear to people, I ain't existed for a very long time. I don't even think the tax people, when I tried to file them this last year, could find a tax from 8 years ago. They're like, maybe it was this a good year? I'm like, well, I don't even know. I've not existed. I'm alive and well. So I'm not gonna pretend like there's a whole history of opportunity for me to leverage myself to go and get the 40 to 100 acres. So how do you assist people who are in my position, who've got no history of anything realistically, and getting potentially, owning some land one day?
Yeah, so that's when, you know what I mean, there's several different strategies, but that's when building your business, right, becomes really beneficial. You can go purchase the land on your business and personally guarantee it with your personal credit without them digging into that type of thing. So there's a lot of different strategies, but yeah, if it's not something that you're gonna just put in your personal name, I would absolutely leverage the dog business at that point in time, because there's a million different ways that you can go get funded for land.
There you go, and that's the business is my Dog Supps, people. So let's say I get that to doing a good amount of money, good revenue. I took that to the bank and said, oh, we've got a good business, it's got a good track record, but that might take what, a year or 2, 3 years to like show that we're on to something. So a lot of times in life you want to speed up this process, right? And some people go and raise a bunch of money or get loans, as her and I spoke about a little bit ago, and that doesn't always solve your problem. If anything, it creates more problem, because the more debt we create, the more stress we have, unless you know how to leverage debt. And if you don't know how to budget, if you don't have a good credit score, then you probably shouldn't be adding more debt to your life. Just food for thought there. So she walked me through some numbers the other day when we talked about a property at $599. So you'd only have to put down $18,000, and it would be, you could do that 4 times based on this and that. So getting 5 properties, that wouldn't be super difficult with a 620 either, or?
Yeah, you can absolutely get approved for a house at that point. Again, we're talking about interest rates. That's what really makes up the difference. When we're talking about purchasing property, because it's already, either an income bearing asset or it's just something that's going to gain equity, so at such a high rate, it's a very safe thing for the bank to bet on.
They know where you're gonna be at.
Right.
I'm like, I know where this nigga, I know where his house is at, so if you get to acting up, we just come.
It's considered secured, right? Yeah. That's what matters. It's secured. There's something that they can take back if you default.
I didn't been there, brother.
Yeah.
My grandmother, after 30 years, got evicted. I still have the photos. I might pull them up one day and show you guys. I have to go get the old computer, but it was 3 feet of snow out there in Kansas City, and she was getting put out. They just didn't care. It's like, hey, you gotta go. So the properties aren't super complicated. It seems to be, what I'm hearing is the interest rate is what the credit score impacts most. And that's the key to all of this.
Yeah, that's what I told you why we didn't buy. That's why we're renting this house right now. Because if we were to purchase the same exact house with $170,000 down, 20% down, our mortgage would have been $1,700 more than what we're paying to rent it right now. Because somebody bought it back in 2012 when houses were dirt cheap.
See? Guys, look, don't make vast decisions. And part of my job, even though this is on a dog page, is trying to educate you on how to make good decisions. And mind you, I say this all the time, but I don't want people, I could care less, if I'm being honest, how you take it. But if you've ever believed in yourself and people are just kind of like walking around, it's like that scene in the movie where this person, like he's walking and everything else moving real fast. I did a lot of things in relation to dogs without anybody understanding what I was going to do with the dogs. And even the people who had dogs didn't know what was coming. I saw it as clear as day 4 or 5 years ago. And I stuck to my own personal plan of executing that every day. So what I love even about learning in this credit space, there's no fast way to get there. So in this case, even if with little to no problems on my credit, if we fix it and I got to 700 and I was at 740, 749 next month, do I rush and go get a car? No, we all carpool to the gym today. I'm like, I ain't got nowhere I got to go afterwards. And most times I'll rob a Jamarcus or I'll go get my first car or whatnot. So just if it's like, if we go to the same place and back to the same house, I'd almost rather throw some gas that way and just head out. But, when you're not dealing with people in gas days, like broke people, Nobody's, hey man, you got some gas money? Well, you sure is riding every day. So, if I wanted to create more products, what would be the way to, let's say, we just talked about loans being bad ideas. But let's say I needed to create 7 more products. We're talking at least, realistically, probably I need about $25,000 worth of money. What's that look like? What would be the best route to go? And that's the one business question. Every one of these things all ties to the business people. The products are directly impacted by the business. But we talked a little business stuff, so please educate, enlighten, enhance, help a brother out.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that part with you. We're gonna, like I said, we'll look at your credit, we'll figure out what's going on there, we'll get that score up, that's not a big deal. But I'm excited to get you to the point where it's like, when you have those, if you have a litter, if you need to go buy $3,000 worth of product, whatever, it's not, hey, let me pull $3,000 out of the bank. You know what I mean? It's, hey, let me go swipe my Amex, that's 0% for 12 months, and give myself 12 months to pay this off. So instead of paying for the product up front, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go swipe that nice little blue Amex card or the gold one, whichever one you got, and you're gonna allow yourself to pay it on a monthly basis. So as you're making sales, you can start to pay it off and you don't have to worry about that interest. You don't have to deplete the savings or the checking or whatever. You can keep your cash on hand.
And keep that in mind, people. She said I can use a credit card with low to no interest and get a 12-month head start. That means that's 12 months of work, to be clear. I'm not confused by the opportunity an MX gives, because the only opportunity is to get up and shoot lights out, go out, take care of the dogs, push the product's capabilities, and keep learning about as much stuff. I mean, even when you look here, I mean, this is the National Library of Medicine, and this is me. Synaptic plasticity, shapes, brain connectivity, implications of network topology. You're not reading about this, okay? You're not gonna go to, this is the tab that's been up. And I'm looking at brain and its function and foods that impact the brain. And this is the way that I'm thinking. So when I'm thinking about scaling products that would assist in cognitive skills, even when it comes to pets, I'm studying everything. And it's a lot to take on, to say the least. But there are some things I believe that could speed up our financial process. For one, Offer Credit Solutions, Kat and Jamal are definitely going to assist in that. And then we don't want to make vast decisions that could impact us long term for nothing. So I appreciate that idea, because now as you build your personal from what she's told me and it keeps improving, you could then turn around, as she said, and say, hey, MX gave you 30. You only need another product, and I normally give myself 60 days to like push a product. So every 60 days I'll see what it does, try to get to at least 70 to 800, or 70 to 110 where, what the product being sold if I'm like really pushing, and then kind of go from there and just see what happens, and see what happens to me. And like we're studying stuff. And even from a marketing standpoint, once you hit your top line sales, you know what needs to be reinvested, and then you take a percentage of those sales, as I would imagine, and say, okay, so we did, if I spend $2,000 on a product, I make $6,000 on a product. Well, 1,000 of it might be allocated directly back to every month paying that loan back. Well, on one product, that's not a lot. That's not a lot. And guess what? In turn, you're building your personal business credit, right?
1,000%.
Now, my wish list, people, I'm gonna show you this car. I'm gonna show you this. You're gonna see this Resvani. I don't know if you've ever heard of this, but this is a military truck that they came up with, and you can customize it. So at some point, we have one of these. And it's not to stunt. It's just because I'm gonna be in the woods somewhere ducked off, and this thing is also bulletproof. So many things, but I get out the car and I've got the boys with me. And I mean the dogs, I don't got no friends. and I'm in this, so if I were to, we'll just say do something that was what one would consider a splurge. I'm always gonna be in flip-flops, probably a decent pair of running shoes, and definitely some boots. I like them little tactical boots now. I'm liking them things. I would walk 4 miles in them and my feet didn't hurt. I said, no, I like them things. But this car is on the wish list. It ranges anywhere from $285,000 to $400,000.
It's a write-off.
There you go. Now you're talking $400,000 and you writing it off. But this, I mean, look at this. 6 wheels. I mean, they're all gorgeous. And it looks like the Batmobile. and I'm trying to create Batman. So, you know, and Dark Knight and Batman Beyond over here. So we're gonna have a good time. We're definitely gonna keep going, honey. I want to learn as much as I can, people. I don't know everything, and as I've always said, I don't know anything, but I'm willing to figure it out. So the starter cars though is I like electric mixed with little gas. So you got your Highlander and your Sequoia, which are good cars, decent size, can fit a couple dogs in, and you get your space from the dogs, to be clear. And they're $44,000 to $50,000, which ain't crazy, not at all. But we have to work on some credit first, which we're going to do, and we're going to show you that. So again, next Thursday, I believe, we're going to do an event where they break down everything. We'll post it on this page, and I'm going to log in and do everything live. How long does it take that one company, you guys, to get you your credit score back?
Oh, like a minute and a half.
Okay, there you go. So within a minute and a half, we'll see what they say is all my thing, all the problems. She will be brutally honest and breaking things down, things that I need to do, things I can do to be better, and things that set us all up for future success. Anything you want to leave them with? And should people create a wish list?
I mean, everybody has their thing, right? Some people do vision boards, some people have their lists, everybody has their, however it is that they picture what it is that they want. So yeah, your credit is your leverage. That's how you're able to scale. That's how you're able to still do your normal budgeting, still function, right? But then if you've got the discipline to take care of that side of things, it's gonna give you the freedom to build $1 billion business. So
there you go. There you go. And trust me, people, I've shown you the things that are taking place, and I will show you here in a second. So I commend it's quarter profit. I commend any company that does something amazing. But you know, pet food processing, Zesty Paws is a big company. They did really well. And Zesty Paws led growth H&H Group in China and North America. So let's look here. You can zoom in, and you can see that in their first quarter earnings report, 3-month period ended March 31st. They did $447 million in the first quarter this year. 29% up year over year. And they started in 2014, and they sold to this company for $600 million. So in the first quarter, this company basically got all their money back. H&H. I do believe that you can sell a dog bed. They did it for $600 million. I do believe there's an opportunity here for $1 billion exit just on that, and we don't even know what else we plan on building. So stay tuned. Take care of your dogs. I'm telling you, take care of your credit. Learn as much as you can. Comment below if you have questions. Reach out to Offer Credit if you want to learn more about credit and how to enhance your credit experience and just make better choices. And then remember, it is a journey. No matter what nobody tells you, it is a journey. If I fixed my credit today and had $100,000 in my bank account, I still wouldn't go buy a car right now. It might not make sense. It might not make sense. So we want to make sure that it makes sense. As she said, we don't know when the economy is going to come back down either. So we can only plan for the best situations or best case scenarios. And then sometimes you do have to make a move, and you want to be in position for that as well. So 620 versus a 740. If I had to go get a car right now, I'd rather at least start with the 740 and get it down. What she said, 7? 7% might be the lowest. At 620, what am I looking at?
About 20%.
That's a big change. Thank you for watching, people.